Welcome to Part of My Imagination. I'm Imagination, and you're the Imaginers. Welcome if this is your first time. My name is Shusterman, and welcome back if this is your second or third or however many times you found yourself coming here. Today, I'm going to be going over my week 3 and week 4 reads of September. If you didn't know already, I'm pretty sure over the last couple of videos that I've been posting already that are similar to this, I am doing weekly wrap-ups, but I'm not going to be putting them out every week. I don't know. Just know that your girl is doing weekly wrap-ups because I wanted to break up my end of the month TBRs because some things be long sometimes. So let's just get into the 4 books that I finished in the last couple of weeks of September. Okay, so first and foremost, I read Thunderhead by Shusterman. Like I said in my wrap-up, I did give this book 5 stars. I loved it so much. I also really enjoyed Scythe. So just to not spoil Scythe, if you don't know what Scythe is about, it's pretty much following this world where there's no more immortality. They've kind of solved all the world problems, world hunger, climate change and all this stuff. The only thing is now there is a population issue because obviously people do not die. So there are scythes that are put out to kill people, or they call it gleaming. And the scythes are the only people that are allowed to kill people. And you pretty much can't kill people anyways because they're just going to regen themselves anyways. So there are 2 people, Citra and Rowan, and essentially they become apprentices to a scythe called Scythe Verde, and he is pretty much going to train them to become scythes, and at the end of the 1 year, one of them is going to be picked. I'm not going to spoil it for you or anything and let you know, but there are some things that happen, and it's a very interesting take on how the world would look if people were assigned to kill people, but then you still can't discriminate and things like that. So it was a very interesting book. I really enjoyed Scythe, and I feel like Thunderhead was just a second onto the next one. But I will say, and they were frustrating at times, but Citra, especially in the second one, I have really grown to love her as a character. I love what she stands for, and ultimately, like, the story is just really good, and the plot twist at the end wasn't even like, it was a plot twist, but I just didn't expect that, and I really loved it, and I really cannot wait to pick up the next one. Alright, next I read Court of Lions by Somaiya Daud. I gave this book 4 and 4.5 stars. This is the second book in the Mirage duology. As far as I know, it's a duology. But it is following this girl who gets kidnapped from her village, and she becomes the double for the princess of this world, or on this planet. Essentially, she becomes the double because she looks exactly like her, and it's kind of just picking up where the second one left off. It's dealing with her obviously leaving her village and pretty much getting thrown into the situation where in order to protect her family, she has to do what she is told. And there is the romance in here, and the second one honestly was so good. I really enjoyed it. I loved where it was going. I loved the friendship, the relationships. I loved the character growth of the princess in here is just honestly so freaking good. And not even just like the plot, the ending I really enjoyed, and I did not see that coming, like, at all. But I'm glad that it kind of tied everything back. Like, it did a full circle and it tied it together, and I really enjoyed it. And there is some female romance going on in this thing, so look out for that. Ultimately, I would definitely recommend this duology, and you should pick it up. Alright, and next I read Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I gave this book 4 to 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed this book. I'm so glad that I finally got through the Grishaverse, the Shadow and Bone trilogy, so that I could get to this one, which I believe is a duology. It's this one and then Crooked Kingdoms. But if you don't know what the story is about, it's essentially following a group of criminals, Cass being one of the main characters. And he is the leader of this gang who steals shit, and he got his own block, but it's set in the Grisha universe. So essentially Cass takes on a really big job to steal to pretty much break into this ice, I can't remember what it's called, but ice something, the ice castle or whatever, and it's pretty much supposed to be the most impenetrable kingdom ever, and they have to steal back this scientist that has created a drug that affects the Grisha and their powers. So yeah, I loved this. I loved it so much. I loved Cass so much. I loved the complexity of him. And what is the girl's name? Why can I not remember her name? I honestly though, the female that is the Raven, or is that her name? I think that's her code name. I can't remember. Which is bad, but yeah, so I really enjoyed their kind of back and forth, and then there's obviously Nina, and then there is a breakaway prison guard. There is also some male on male going on in here, even though it doesn't fully happen. He wants it to happen, so I'm all here for this book, and I'm really excited to pick up Crooked Kingdoms. And I didn't really have any faults with this. I don't know why I didn't give it 5 stars. I think, I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you why I didn't give it 5 stars. It just wasn't I would 100% read it again, but I don't know why. I don't know why. Alright, and the next book is Fallen Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes. This is kind of just an honorable mention because I've already read this book, and I'm pretty sure you can find this book in one of my reviews, but I'm just going to go ahead and tell you anyways. So obviously I gave this book 5 stars. It was a reread. I read this book with Princess over at Castle Library. She was reading it for the first time, and I reread it. Still 5 stars for me. If you love political intrigue, if you like multiple perspectives, and magic, this is the book for you. So essentially you're following 4 characters: Cleo, Magnus, Jonas, and Lucia. Lucia. Lucilla and Magnus are brother and sister. Cleo is a princess in one of the other kingdoms. There are 3 kingdoms. Cleo is a princess in one of the kingdoms, and Jonas is he is the son of a winemaker in Palacia. I want to say that's the name of it. And then Magnus and Lucia are princess and prince in another kingdom. So essentially, Cleo is in Palacia, and something horrible happens to Jonas's brother, and it creates a feud between countries that already had, or not countries, but kingdoms that already had some negativity towards each other already. So that's really all I can say, because I don't want to spoil anything out of this book. Trigger warning for, how can I say this without spoiling the book? Okay, I'm just gonna say it, and then I'm not gonna say anything after that. But trigger warning for brother to female feelings. So Magnus has feelings for Lucia, which is his sister. That's all I'm going to say on that part. I will say there are no relationships happening. There is, I'll just say Lucia does not reciprocate the feelings of the brother, and I'll leave it at that. But yes, some of my favorite characters in this book is definitely, I would definitely have to say Magnus and Cleo. Lucia doesn't really get that much face time in this book, but I really love Magnus just because he is definitely a complex character. He's a troubled character. And Cleo is just like a clueless, she's definitely the princess that like was super fucking pampered and she doesn't understand anything else that's going on outside of her kingdom, so she's very naive. And somehow, some way I actually enjoyed that in this book. But yes, again, I loved it so much. You should definitely check this series out, and I cannot wait to get to the next one and the next one. Alright, last and surely but not least is Beyond the Flame by Hafsah Faizal. This is also a reread. Like I said, I gave this book 5 stars. This is one of my favorite books, and I'm so excited for the second one to come out. But essentially, this is following a girl named Zafara, and she lives in a world where magic was taken away because of this battle between some witches and a man that was trying to create the ultimate power. So magic is gone away, and because of magic, there is this horrible black forest that is creeping up onto the different kingdoms. And she is from the kingdom that Denmark, and that kingdom is directly being affected by the forest because it is closest, and she is the only one that can go into the forest and hunt without going crazy or going missing. And she's actually not supposed to be hunting because she is a female. So yeah, whatever. But yes, she is tasked to bring magic back, and she goes on a trip in her favorite rocket ship. Sorry, I don't know where that came from. But yes, she is going to meet a ton of different characters. You're going to meet a prince, a general, a badass fucking warrior, and you're just going to have a good time. A love to hate. I mean, a hate to love. Altair, my squishy man. I love him so much. And yes, if you want a more in-depth and it's kind of like spoilery review, I will have it linked up here wherever it's supposed to be. I actually have a tea time review of this book on my channel, so go ahead and check that out. And yeah, that's it. All right, so those are the last couple of books that I've read for the week, the 3rd and 4th week of September. I hope that you enjoyed this video or these books, this wrap up. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I'm just kind of doing stuff and hoping it works. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Okay. All right, though. That is all that I have for you guys today. Be sure to check out my description where you will find easy ways to contact me, as well as all the books and channels that I talked about. If you like this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if not, just imagine that you didn't come back again. Until next time, keep imagining.